very much for having us.
I've seen you a while ago in Ikulaga, and of course, what can you say about the Philippines? What can you say about the people of the Philippines?
I mean, like you mentioned before, it's been 3 years now since we've been here, and I still talk about this show and this experience coming out here. This country is incredibly beautiful, and I mean, having the chance to fly in this morning and as the sun was coming up, and to see kind of the clouds laying low on the mountains and stuff, it's beautiful. And I think the people of this country and the fans really kind of mirror that. In my travels so far, I have yet to find people more inviting and more friendly than here in the Philippines.
Okay. So right now, do we have any questions from the media and the bloggers? Okay, yes, sir.
Hi, David. I'm Rito Asiga from Philippine Daily Wire.
Pleasure to meet you.
It's an honor. Do you have tips for newcomers who want to join singing competitions?
Think about it. No, I've been amazingly blessed the last few years. Bartending in the Midwest back in the United States, and think, man, it'd be awesome to go play a show in Los Angeles. And now, 4 years, 5 years later, I'm blessed to get to come here, which is so far beyond what my dreams were, I think, at the time. So, I got told no a lot. So I guess my advice would be get used to the word no. I still hear it a lot, but I'm starting to hear yes a little more. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any more questions from our friends from the media? Yes, ma'am. Stand up.
Hi, David. I'm Ariel from Most Wanted Games.
Pleasure.
Yeah, I heard you came up with your second album. Can you share something about that album?
Yeah, just to put it, I guess, in a frame of reference, the first record, the self-titled record, I got off Idol, I think the 21st of May, 2008 was the last day of the show. I think I had a week off after that to kind of breathe, and we went right into the process. So let's say the beginning of June is when we started that record, and we finished it middle of October, so that's 4.5 months, start to finish, which is a short amount of time to make a record. So now fast forward, we're working on the second record, and as I started to work on these songs and started to kind of figure out what it was that I wanted to say, it became very apparent this was going to take a little longer. The record, I think, just in the sense of, again, what I wanted to say and what I wanted the music to sound like and what I wanted the record to feel like from start to finish, just became a very large undertaking. And so we spent 1.5 years on the record, which comfortably is the longest I've ever spent on a record. And I think, including the stuff I did before Idol, that was this latest one is my 10th record. But I think the end result is a record I'm really proud of, which sounds cliche to say, but it's the truth. I feel like the things that I sought out to do on this record, definitely more so than the self-titled release from 2008, I feel like we got there on almost every song, if not every song. And some of those songs we had to chase. I think Paper Heart took us 8 months from start to finish to get right. But I guess if I had to describe this record in succinct terms, it's just, I think it's an accurate snapshot of where I was at that point in my life, trying to make sense of a completely different reality for myself, and do so with a lot of sets of eyes and ears on me.
But anyway, I'm just curious is it possible to release that album here?
Is it possible? I believe so. Is it out?
Yeah.
It's not out here? If it's not, it should be.
Thank you very much. Any more questions? Yes, sir. Yun nga.
Hi, good afternoon, David.
Hi.
Justin from Music Republic.
Nice to meet you.
2006, there was Analog Heart.
Yes.
And now it's 2012, and you self-released your latest single.
Yes.
What have been the changes in the songwriting process since Analog Heart?
I have really gotten into the collaborative process. I still write by myself sometimes. Analog Heart was written completely by myself over the course of a year. The whole record, I think, was recorded in 2.5 weeks. But the new single, the last song, "I'll Write for You," I wrote with my keyboard player Andy, who's in his hotel somewhere sleeping the jet lag off, and then our friend Daniel James. And I love the process of bouncing ideas off of other people, especially people who I respect as musicians and people who I care for as a friend. So really just writing, we've got a pocket of songs written for this third record or 11th record or whatever we're calling it. And I've written all of them with friends, with people I have a rapport with, and I feel like it's actually calmed the songs down a little bit. It's actually made everything a little bit more laid back and comfortable, which is different for me. But ultimately, I've probably enjoyed this writing process more so than any other. Thank you.
Just one other question.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
You've been friends with Neil and
Yeah.
for a long time.
Mhm.
How does your career affect their career? I mean, there's Midwest Kings.
You'd have to ask them. I don't know. I know they still put records out, and they're great records. I think they just put out the third Luna EP. I admire them as musicians. That's how our relationship started. Is we played a show together in Tulsa, my band in Kansas City, and their band in Tulsa, and I watched them and I was like, I want to be that good. You know what I mean? And then got to join their band and all that. And so, yeah, I mean, our friendship started from just, if not mutual admiration, there was certainly admiration from my side for them. So, yeah, I don't know how to, hopefully it affects their career positively. If not, then I'm going to feel really bad.
Okay, next question. Lady over there.
Hi, I'm Wyatt from Meg Magazine. It's a young women's magazine. I just have two really quick questions. One is, we know that you have a lot of rock influences, right? But on American Idol, I think you really showed how you can tweak even something that's really different from the musical style and make it your own. Do you still like to do that from time to time?
Yeah. On the last tour, we went out with Gavin DeGraw, and we pulled, I think, like 4 or 5 covers during rehearsals and stuff that we wanted to try, and some of them we stayed pretty close to the original. We did Stockholm Syndrome by Muse. We did Every Day is Exactly the Same by 9 Inch Nails. But a song that we actually switched up was, I'm drawing a blank on the title now, but it was a Billy Joel song. Do you remember? Moving Out. Anthony's song by Billy Joel. Really just, we kind of took this riff rock approach to it, because it's, the original's kind of piano driven and all that stuff. So I really do still enjoy doing it. I think it all came, I didn't know I could do it before Idol, to be completely honest. Sorry if everybody thought I was smarter. It just, I did it out of necessity, because that was the only way I could keep up. Yeah, I actually really enjoy doing that sometimes.
And my last question is, we know that this latest album has been really cathartic for you,
Yes.
and you've gone through a lot.
Mhm.
In terms of where you are right now, what's new for you? Are you working on even more new stuff?
Yeah, we're writing the material, and to kind of piggyback on what you said, I did a phone interview when I was still in the States leading up to this show, and the interviewer made a comment about how I seemed happier than the last time we had talked, and at the time, if I remember right, we came out here a few weeks after my brother had died, And I purposely kind of shelved all that, purely because, I mean, this is my job. Sorry, thank you. This is my career, you know, and I take it very seriously, and I don't want to disappoint anybody. And so I really didn't deal with all that stuff, and then came off the road and started trying to write while trying to deal with that. And I think that's really where the cathartic aspect of this live morning comes from, is, you know, instead of paying $200 an hour to a therapist, I was writing songs and trying to figure it out that way. And I definitely feel like that record helped, you know, because whoever's interviewing me, forgive me, I can't remember who it was, but I do think I'm happier maybe than I was. At least I think I have a bit of a clearer head than I had the last time I was out here, for sure.
Thanks for your honesty.
Thank you. Okay, next, you. Yes, ma'am.
I'm Marian. I'm from Quezon City. Before I ask, I just want to say that I've loved you since Idol Day 1.
Oh, shucks.
I went to your concert last year. I got the invitation in Boracay Shore to see you.
Awesome, thank you so much.
Okay, so this is just a really quick question. Since you've been here before, what are you expecting tomorrow? What are you expecting from us?
Nothing. Honestly, I'm just kind of continuously appreciative that we get to travel around the world and play music. And as long as you guys are excited for us to come out, I don't see a reason why we should stop coming out. But I don't, I guess I just lied to you. I guess if I expect, no, I guess if I expect anything, I hope you guys will just come out and want to have a good time, because that's what we're trying to sell, really. You know, the CDs are nice, and the posters, and the T-shirts, and whatever else. But ultimately, I don't ever want anybody to leave a show feeling like they're disappointed, like they didn't get what they paid for. So yeah, I'm ready to have a good time, I guess.
One more.
Sure.
When are we going to have Dublin here with us?
Dublin doesn't travel well, unfortunately. He's a creature of habit. I don't know. How do you explain Dublin, Andrew? Why doesn't he come out here with us?
He needs to be around people, and putting him in a kennel or a cage to travel doesn't really do well.
Yeah, he really, like, I remember I had to fly with him once on Continental Airlines, and he was just big enough to where I couldn't bring him on board with me, so they had to put him in this crate, and he had to go in cargo. It was awful. And I, sitting on the flight, I could hear him crying the whole flight, so I don't do that.
Well, that's my carrier's dream to meet him.
Ah, well, maybe I'll just learn how to fly a plane and bring him here. I don't know.
Thank you, David.
Okay, next. Yes, you, sir.
Jovan Serda from Philippine Star Online.
Hi.
My question is, what can you say about the previous season of American Idol? Any thoughts on Jessica Sanchez?
I've been asked about Jessica a lot. I feel like we should just brought her out here and play the show together. But the last season of Idol, I thought was interesting. It was one of the first seasons I've ever watched where I couldn't really get a pulse on what the American public was thinking. It just seemed like every week, whoever I thought would go home just didn't go home, and whoever I thought was a sure thing would go home. And but I had a chance actually to meet Jessica early on, and she, I think a lot. In my experience with the show the last 4 years, sometimes you'll meet contestants and they're very sweet and very very sincere, and then sometimes you meet somebody who's maybe been through it a little bit more, and so they're a little bit more professional, I guess, and come across that way. It's a little harder to kind of get to the real person behind it. Jessica is definitely somebody who immediately came off as sincere to me, and then to hear her sing, it's ridiculous. She's so good, and what's scary about it is she's young. And that's frightening. Like, it's Archie territory, honestly. Like, Archie was so good at such a young age. It was just like, how good is that person going to get? And I look at Jessica the same way. I think I don't know what I think. Honestly, she's just really, really good, and I think if everything falls in the right place for her, I think she's going to be one of those contestants where years from now, when people are talking about Idol and all the success stories to come from Idol, I think she'll be on that list.
Okay, thank you. Next.
Hi, sir.
Hi.
I'm Jevon from Orange Magazine.
Hi, how are you?
I interviewed you before on the phone.
Oh, okay. All right.
Just a follow-up with your new album. Who's producing it? Any collaboration in it? When will it be released and who will release it? Label.
Honestly, I'm the last person to know those kind of answers. We had Matt Serletic produce the album. Matt's he did Santana's Supernatural. He did I think all the Matchbox 20 stuff, all the Rob Thomas stuff. Definitely brought a different vibe to the process than I've ever worked with before. So I mean, it was a challenge, but I mean, it was actually a lot of fun. As far as the record coming out here, I don't know. I don't even know how to answer that. The fact that it's not out is actually surprising to me.
Okay.
Sorry.
Any more? Yes, last one.
Hi, I'm Florencio from Manual to Life. I'd just like to ask, are you still getting offers in doing probably film, series, or probably do a soundtrack for a film?
I've gotten a few offers here and there. And as I've always said, those things are always flattering, and I'm certainly interested in doing that. If it's the right role or the right job at the right time. And really at this point, my focus is kind of singularly on music and songwriting, whether it be for myself or other artists. So yeah, I'm certainly not opposed to it. I find it very interesting. I think it'd be a lot of fun, and I'm certainly one of those people that, as I go through life, I want to try as much stuff as I can, if for no other reason than, I guess, for the memoir. But yeah, I just think there's a lot of amazing things out there to do with your time, and I think acting would be a blast.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, that's it. So, anyways.
That's it?
Yeah. David,